everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley if you're new here, and today I'm going to be doing my October TBR. So for my October TBR, I have 7 books already chosen, and then I have these TBR prompt cards. So I'm going to be shuffling and picking one of these at random, and then I'll pick a book based on the prompt card. This is kind of like the TBR prompt jar videos, but I don't want my whole TBR to be picked at random just because that kind of stresses me out, and I like to be able to plan what books I want to read, especially for October, just because I have my fall TBR already set and that has quite a few books on it. So I've put less books on this TBR just to account for how many books are on my fall TBR that I want to get through. So I'm going to start by picking one of these prompt cards, and then we'll see what book I end up picking. So I'm just going to kind of shuffle them, and then I'll put them back in the bag and pick one at random. Okay, so I just shuffled them, and now I'm going to put them back in the bag, and then I will pick one randomly. Let's go with this one. So this one says choose a book with a found family trope. So a book with a found family trope. I'm gonna just take a look at what I have. I have some books still in boxes from when I set up these shelves, so I'm hoping I can find one on these shelves that I haven't read yet and that fit this prompt. So, okay, so I looked up Book of Night and the Atlas 6. I didn't really know anything about the Atlas 6 or Book of Night, and so I looked up if they had a found family trope or like what their synopsis was, and I found that they didn't. So I was looking through some of my like witchy books up there, and I found All Our Hidden Gifts. This one I read the synopsis and it sounded like it had a found family trope, and then I looked it up and a few reviews mentioned a found family trope, so I'm going to go with this one. So in All Our Hidden Gifts, we have our main character, Maeve. She finds a pack of dusty tarot cards at her school. So she gets really popular and like a lot of attention because she gives like creepily accurate readings with that specific deck of cards. However, she really wants attention from her former best friend Lily. Then she finally gets Lily to sit down for a reading, and then 2 days later she's disappeared. Then Maeve teams up with classmates Fiona and Ro to find Lily and try and figure out what's going on. So that's kind of what gave me the found family trope, and then looking it up, like a bunch of people said it did have the found family trope. I've wanted to read this one for quite a while, and I love the cover on it. It was definitely a cover vibe. I think this one would really fit the vibe for October, so I'm glad that I was able to pick this. So that is it for my TBR prompt cards, and now I'm going to go into the rest of my TBR. There's 7 other books. The first one is a romance, and it's Daydream. This one is the third in a series. The first one is Icebreaker, and the second one I believe is called Wildfire. I haven't read the sequel because it's set at camp and I didn't get a chance to read it during the summer, so I am just going to skip to this one, and I'm fine for like whatever spoilers are inevitably gonna pop up. This one is set on campus, which is why I want to read it this fall. I've been itching to pick it up the last few weeks, so I'm really looking forward to getting to this one. The next category is going to be fantasy, and the first one I have for that is the Dagger and The Flame, and this one comes out in October. This one says, in the dark underbelly of a beautiful city, 2 rival gang members are pitted against each other in a deadly game of revenge, where the most dangerous mistake of all is falling in love. So in this one we have 2 main characters, Seraphine and Ransom. They are from 2 different kind of like gangs. One is the Cloaks and the other is the Daggers. It is kind of chunky, so this one paired with my fall TBR makes me a little bit nervous, but I have been wanting to get to it since I got it in August, I think, so I decided to add it to my October TBR. The next one I have is Long Live Evil, and I think this one is more like magical realism versus like straight up fantasy, but we have our main character Ray, and as she's dying, she's able to somehow go into the world of one of her fantasy books. In this one, there's a ton of villains. Ray has to figure out a way to survive. Apparently there's a ton of people that are dying, I believe at the hands of the villains. I think she forms some allies and they're trying to maybe fight the villains or make the world that she's in like safer or better. I'm not sure, but I'm excited to get to this one. This is the fairyloot copy, and I love the cover illustration. I think it's so cool. The next one I have is Gothic, and I believe it's a fantasy. I'm not 100% sure, but from what I could find, it's like a Gothic fantasy, and that is Belladonna. This one I have heard so many good things, especially because I think the 3rd one just came out and I've heard nothing but good things. Like, I've seen so many people rave about it. Our main character is named Signa, and she's raised by a string of guardians. One day she's sent to a manor to be raised by a family called the Hawthorns. However, when she's there, a restless spirit kind of shows themselves to her and says that she was poisoned. Now Signa is very worried for the safety of the Hawthorns, and she's trying to figure out how she can save them, and she's working with, I believe, a stable boy on the property to see kind of what happened to do with the poisoning. I think. I don't know much about this one, but that's kind of what I could glean from the synopsis. I could be totally wrong, but either way, I'm really looking forward to reading this one. Like I said, have heard nothing but great things about the sequel and the third one that just came out, and I'm excited to kind of see what I think. The next one I have, I think will be labeled more like magical realism or maybe like paranormal romance. But that is Midnight Sun, and this is Twilight told from Edward's point of view. I have started it, but I'm only 28 pages in. I said I really want to read the Twilight series by the end of the year and annotate them. I haven't read them since I first did, way back when they first came out, and so I'm really excited to kind of see what I think and see how they've held up over the years. I just finished reading Twilight and annotating it, and it was a really fun and funny experience. Like, the book is just crazy. The movies are also crazy, but I have watched the movies like a million times. They're one of my favorite like comfort fall winter movies. And so yeah, this one is just Twilight from Edward's point of view. The next one I have is a magical realism mystery, and that is A Grim Reaper's Guide to Catching a Killer, and this one comes out on October 1st. I'm so excited for this one. In this one we have our main character Kathy. She's 42, going through a divorce, and she's pregnant with her soon-to-be ex-husband's baby. She is also employed as a modern-day Grim Reaper by an organization called Scythe, which is an acronym, and I forget what the acronym is for. It's super long. Okay, it's the secure collection, yielding, and transportation of human essences. However, then one of the people she's in charge of as like a Grim Reaper, his soul goes missing, but he's adamant that his death wasn't by natural causes and that someone within Scythe had actually murdered him. So now Kathy has 45 days or something to figure out what happened to him, like what caused his death, and then if she doesn't, his soul is like destined or doomed to stay on Earth and just float around. And so she's trying to work hard at that, and that's basically the synopsis for this one. I think it sounds really interesting, really cute, like a fun, unique story. I've never read a story similar to this one, so I'm really looking forward to it. The next category is middle grade, and this is my last book, and it is The Age of Enchantment from the Chronicles of Whetherwhy series. It's the first one. In this one we have our main character Juniper. She's from a world where everyone has some sort of magic, and their magic is seasonal related. So some people have like spring magic or summer, etc. However, Juniper finds out that she has a special magic called Enchantment. So she is an enchanter, and she is sent to a special boarding school where all of the enchanters go. And then while she's at the school, she's discovering like all of these nefarious things going on in the world that most people don't know, and she's discovering different monsters. And I think there's some sort of like corruption and something like that. The school sounds like it would be shady from what I've read. So I have started this, but I'm not very far in, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it progresses. I am really enjoying it so far, but like I said, I'm not very far in. Okay, so that is it for my October TBR. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and watching it. I appreciate it so much. Let me know in the comments what you're most looking forward to reading in October, or what your favorite like October vibes type of book is, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye!